Hey guys, Anna Cortez here, author of the Playing Card Oracles and Oracle Alchemy, back with a little video on doing a daily card, a deceptively simple practice that keeps your hands on the cards every single day. And I can tell you, after 30 years of working with the same method of card reading, I still get so much out of the daily card. So I'm going to share with you some of my tips for doing a daily card and some of my most treasured techniques that I use every time I lay a spread of cards out to amp the energy up. So let's get to the table. Okay guys, here we are at the table. I've got my deck of cards here, but all of the techniques we'll be talking about, you can use whatever deck you like, whatever deck you use for card reading. This is a 52 card playing card oracle deck, the Alchemy edition. And I find that committing to one particular deck or way of reading cards over time is really helpful to help a person penetrate beyond the superficial meanings of cards and really make the cards a part of you. It deepens your practice and also increases the intuition with the cards. So that's something I recommend if you're changing decks a lot. Consider maybe sticking with one particular deck or one particular system of card reading for a longer length of time. And when I do a daily card, I always have in my mind sort of a question, right? This is setting the intention for my time with the cards. And always when I do the daily card, I have in mind something along the lines of, show me what I need to know for my day today. Or what do I need to know about my day today? Just something real open-ended like that. In essence, I'm just saying, teach me. I want to learn. And I like that because there's no emotional attachment, and it just provides such a great way to do a daily card. So then I start shuffling. And when I shuffle, I'm always sitting in a chair. That's my preferred way, next to the table. And I make sure to have my 2 feet flat on the floor. It just makes sense when you think of the fact that we're electrical beings and the bottoms of our feet were made for putting on the earth. They provide reflexology points for our whole body. And so this just connects me into the power source that is the Mother Earth. This is one of the ways that I amplify my practice. Now, as I'm shuffling, I'm chattering away here. And when I do my forecasts daily, I'm also talking as I'm shuffling because I do the daily draw live on Periscope each morning. And so I'm usually talking as I'm shuffling, and that doesn't have to detract from the power of what's happening. Because as I'm talking, I'm also doing some things that maybe aren't so obvious. I'm putting a little bit of attention onto my own breath. This is my way of tethering myself to the present moment. I'm also relaxing my body. I know that I hold tension in certain parts of my body, my legs, my shoulders. And as I'm shuffling, I'm relaxing those areas. Why? This puts me in the present moment. The present moment is the doorway into future, past, as well as present. And I want that as an ingredient in my shuffle. And then I just stop shuffling when I feel finished. Okay? So I hope you don't mind. I'm going over some of the most essential basics of my practice that are all a part of drawing a daily card. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to talk about those. So I stop shuffling when I feel finished and I simply turn the top card. Simple as that. And you'll notice that when I turn the card, I turn it from side to side. Kind of an unusual way to turn a card. I notice a lot of people flip their cards. But to me, flipping feels like I'm playing a card game. And I'm not playing a card game. I'm doing something very different with my deck. And turning cards side to side, to me, is again about setting intention. And my intention is that my cards are like a book, right? They're a book of knowledge. They're a book of stories. Only the pages of my book are unbound so that the stories are free to change, right? As a reader, you're in a storyteller tradition. So I always acknowledge that, and I turn my cards like book pages, right? I really like that. It really just further affirms what I'm doing here. And then I take a look at my card. And of course, we want to know the sort of superficial meanings associated with each card. You know, the little meanings that come in the little booklet that you get with your deck. You know, we want to kind of look at those first and acknowledge those. And then I always recommend simply looking at the image of the card and seeing what it evokes in me. Just again, entering into that quiet space that is the present moment and seeing what comes up for me, if there's an association for myself in my own life. You know, what my first reaction is to the card outside of the memorized meanings for the card. It could be very different than the memorized meaning. So I'm always paying attention to that. And I'm always encouraging people who are listening to my daily forecast to do the same, right? And then when I'm recording my daily forecast for the day for my little podcast, I do my little ditty. I say my little spiel, which is largely based on sort of the memorized meanings for the card, but I might get an intuitive hit and take the meaning one direction or another, and I just follow that. And I also make a note of the number on the card, you know, and I make a note of the element associated with the suit. In this particular system of card reading, hearts are associated with water. And, you know, I always go along with those associations. So, you know, water could become significant for me. And on this image, this figure who's being reflected in the water, you know, quite differently than she appears above the water. You know, she's taking a bath a little bit, and she's playing a musical instrument, right? She's made a stick into a little harp of some kind. And I'm just making a note of all that because cards can become literal too. You know, maybe I'm being directed to spend some time in water today. So all of these things I stay open-minded to, and all of this comes out of just being very present with my card and allowing myself to think outside the box a bit, but not ever really veering from or contradicting my essential card meanings, right? We want to be careful when we're sort of winging it with card meanings to, go with your intuition, but be careful not to stray in an area that's actually contradictory of what the given card meanings are. The other thing about interpreting cards for the daily card is, and I'll just start flipping through as I'm talking just so you have something more interesting to look at. I always look at the daily card as an opportunity to create more awareness for myself in my day, to bring more awareness to me of the energies that are at play during my day, and to see my role in interacting with those energies, and become more aware of the choices that I have in those instances. Some of the pitfalls represented by my card might be pitfalls that I might fall into if I wasn't being more watchful. So it's more about awareness for me than creating a dazzling feat of psychic prediction. It's not to me whether or not the card comes true. If I'm paying attention, I notice these energies are playing out in my day. And many times, the card will come into play at these critical moments. It may not come into my whole day, but there will be a moment, maybe an important moment. I may be at a fork in the road, so to speak, in my day, when I could go one direction or another. And maybe it's an important fork. And the card comes to mind, and it acts as a guide in that moment. And it may change my day. It may change more than my day, right? It may ripple out further than that. So I've just been enjoying so much seeing how these cards come into play in surprising ways during these sort of turnkey moments in my day. And then one other note I want to mention is make sure when you're interpreting cards, no matter which deck that you're using, right? No matter what system of cards, that you're using your cards not to scare yourself or create situations for yourself where you feel in danger or intimidated, like, for example, today, I'll see if I can find it. Today's card, just coincidentally, it's going to be buried somewhere in here. Let's see if I can find it. That just happened to come up for the forecast today was the Nine of Spades in this Alchemy Edition deck. Here we go. Check out this boogaloo character, right? Wouldn't it be easy to go, like, ooh, what is going to happen today? Maybe I shouldn't even leave the house, right? But that would be using the card in a way that's not really helping me. It's not aiding my growth. And so we look for ways to use the cards for guidance, for ways of growth. For instance, I know you may not be using this system of cards, but I'll just give you an example. So for this card today, my advice is to look for areas in my life or situations that are acting as a Dracula, so to speak, that are draining my energy or my life force. A lot of things can be like little vampire situations. For instance, just talking negatively about someone can be a drain on your energy, right? Like a little Dracula. or eating poorly, right? Like having a Snickers bar for lunch can be a major energy drain, etc. You know, you can think of lots of things that could act as a Dracula. And so to become aware of that and to perhaps make a different choice might have a giant influence on your day or beyond. So this is how, I recommend using cards to create more awareness and to act as a positive guide through your day, no matter what the card. So I think those are my main tips for a daily card. I could go on because I love cards, but there's more time, more videos to be made, and I invite you to join me each morning as I do the Oracle forecast for the day, as I draw a daily card on Oracle Speak. You can check it out over at anacortez.com. You can watch me draw the daily card, draw the card with me live on Periscope each morning at Ana Cortez. So thanks so much for watching and have a great day.